Imagine sitting at your kitchen table, pouring yourself a glass of water. It looks clear, refreshing, and harmless. But what if, hidden within that glass, are microscopic particles, fragments of the very plastics we use each day, that could be quietly undermining your most precious memories? This isn't a far-fetched dystopian fantasy. It's the troubling reality emerging from the latest scientific research. Microplastics, once thought to be the domain of environmental activists and oceanographers, are now being discovered in the most protected part of our bodies, the human brain. And the evidence is pointing toward a disturbing link between these invisible invaders and the rise of neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. The story of plastic pollution has always been about the big picture: the floating trash islands in our oceans, the turtles ensnared in six-pack rings, the beaches littered with bottles and bags. But a new chapter is unfolding, drawing the focus inward to the microscopic and to the deeply personal. Scientists have now documented that microplastics are not just around us, they are inside us. They are in the air we breathe, the food we eat, and yes, the water we drink. A 2025 study published in Neurology Today revealed the startling truth: microplastics accumulate in the brain at concentrations up to 30 times higher than in the liver or kidneys. Even more alarming, brain tissue from people diagnosed with dementia showed much higher levels of microplastics than tissue from those without cognitive decline. So, how did we get here? Microplastics are defined as particles less than 5 millimeters in diameter, so small that thousands could fit on the head of a pin. Some are manufactured at this size, such as the microbeads once common in face scrubs. Most, however, are the result of our plastic waste breaking down. Every plastic bag, bottle, or wrapper that enters the environment is slowly worn down by sunlight, wind, and water, shedding countless microscopic fragments over time. These fragments have become a global contaminant, found from the deepest ocean trenches to the peaks of the Himalayas. But their omnipresence in our environment means they inevitably enter our bodies. Studies estimate that each of us consumes and inhales tens of thousands of microplastic particles annually. They're in our seafood, our table salt, our fruits and vegetables, and even the dust floating in our homes. Bottled water, touted as a pure alternative, is often even more contaminated than tap water. Once these particles enter the body, our natural defenses are only partially effective. Larger particles are often expelled or trapped in the gut, but the smallest, nanoplastics, measured in billionths of a meter, can pass through the lining of our digestive tract and lungs. From there, they enter the bloodstream, hitching a ride to every corner of the body. They have been found in the livers and kidneys of adults, in the placentas of unborn children, and now, most worryingly, in the brain. The brain is shielded by the blood-brain barrier, a tightly woven network of cells designed to keep out harmful substances. For decades, scientists believed this barrier was nearly impenetrable, but the latest research has shattered that belief. According to recent studies, including animal research published in 2023, nanoplastics can slip through by cloaking themselves in the body's own proteins. This biomolecular disguise fools the barrier's gatekeepers, allowing the plastics to infiltrate the brain's delicate environment. What happens next is the subject of intense study and growing concern. The brain's immune cells, designed to protect against infection and injury, recognize these foreign plastic particles as threats. This triggers a state of chronic inflammation, an immune response that, instead of healing, slowly damages neurons. Over time, this persistent inflammation can erode the connections between brain cells, undermining memory, learning, and cognition. Another consequence is the production of harmful molecules known as reactive oxygen species, leading to oxidative stress. This process damages the cell's DNA, proteins, and membranes, accelerating the aging process in the brain. Most disturbingly, early evidence suggests that microplastics may act as scaffolds for the clumping of toxic proteins, a hallmark of Alzheimer's disease. These clumps, called amyloid plaques and tau tangles, disrupt the brain's communication pathways and ultimately kill neurons. The link between microplastics and dementia is not yet definitive. scientists caution that more research is needed to establish causality. It remains possible that people with neurodegenerative disease are simply more susceptible to microplastic accumulation, rather than microplastics being the cause. However, the association is growing stronger with each new study, and the consequences of inaction are simply too great to ignore. Faced with such a ubiquitous threat, it's easy to feel powerless. But there are steps you can take to reduce your exposure and protect your brain health. Start with your water. Invest in a high-quality filter, such as a reverse osmosis system, to remove microplastics from your drinking supply. Avoid heating or storing food in plastic containers, as heat increases the release of microplastics. Choose glass, stainless steel, or ceramic alternatives whenever possible. Consider your clothing choices. Synthetic fibers like polyester and nylon shed microscopic particles with every wash, contributing to airborne and waterborne microplastics. Opt for natural fibers, such as cotton or wool, and use laundry bags or filters designed to capture microfibers. Improve your indoor air quality by vacuuming regularly with a HEPA filter and using air purifiers. Dust in our homes is a major source of microplastic exposure, with fibers from carpets, upholstery, and electronics contributing to the invisible load we breathe in each day. Be mindful of the products you buy. Avoid personal care items that list polyethylene or polypropylene in their ingredients, and say no to single-use plastics whenever possible. Every small change adds up, both for your health and for the planet. It's crucial to recognize that while individual actions matter, systemic change is essential. The scale of microplastic pollution demands regulation and innovation from industry and government. We need stricter controls on plastic production, better waste management, and support for alternatives that break the cycle of plastic dependency. The discovery of microplastics in our brains represents a turning point. No longer is plastic pollution a distant external problem, it is an intimate, internal threat. The potential link to memory loss and neurodegenerative disease makes this a crisis demanding urgent attention, not just from scientists, but from all of us. The plastic in our blood may be stealing our memories, but with awareness, advocacy, and action, we can fight back. By making informed choices and demanding change, we can protect our minds, our memories, and our future generations from the silent, invisible invasion. If you found this information helpful, like it so others can be informed, share it, and subscribe to our channel.